Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Joe Palmer begins now.
Good evening, everyone. After 3 weeks, 100,000 tickets and some truly weird and wonderful events, Dark Mofo is celebrating its final night. But as the iconic winter festival becomes more and more popular, organisers are questioning just how big can it get.
Preparing for one last feast, the world-renowned Dark Mofo Festival wrapping up tonight after 3 jam-packed weeks.
This festival is really about this community. It's a celebration of what it means to be Tasmanian. It's about us. It's the people that work on the festival and the stall holders that make it what it is.
More than 100,000 tickets were sold, totalling $4 million. 65% of those purchased by tourists.
It's a complete change, really. It's a game changer. As I said, we've got a winter peak season now. Dark Mofo sort of kicked the door open with the winter solstice and opened this stream of festivals.
The popular Winter Feast getting ready to open its doors for the final time in 2019. Many stallholders left blown away by the number of visitors.
Actually, we've been smashed most nights. It's been like the environment has just had such a lovely vibe.
I think it's just getting bigger and bigger. You know, the lineups are huge. People are really interested in where the food is coming from too, which is great. So traceability and having a good time. It's pretty good.
Organisers already looking ahead to next winter.
I'm not sure we can get much bigger. I think it feels like the town's pretty big. We stretched to 3 weeks this year. I think we're going to just make sure we change it up. Push out into new spaces, maybe push into the regions a little more.
Another year of quirky events from the now iconic festival. Michelle Wisby, 7 Tasmania News.
The Hobart Taxi Drivers Association has taken to social media after one of their cabbies was allegedly assaulted by 2 men earlier this morning. The group says the driver refused to take the men home from the Ivory Lounge bar after they damaged the inside of the taxi and punched the driver in the face. Images show the pair reportedly after the incident. Police are appealing for witnesses. Anyone with information can contact Crime Stoppers. Hospital workers are launching a new campaign calling for drastic changes to the Tasmanian health system. With State Labor's support, the community petition demands more beds open at the Launceston General Hospital, along with the hiring of more health professionals.
We do our best, and we are some of the most stoic and hard-working people I've ever worked with. And my colleagues, if it wasn't for my colleagues, I would have left this profession a long time ago.
If Rebecca White's taken the time to go to Launceston to visit the LGH, she'll see the work that's being undertaken there. She might meet some of the 400 additional staff that we've employed since we've been in government.
The Health Department says more than a third of emergency presentations are now being admitted, compared to just 1 in 5 in 2014. As visitor numbers in Tasmania continue to soar, Hobart Airport is ramping up its safety infrastructure. The business will soon welcome 5 new ramps for passengers to get on and off planes, allowing for guests of all abilities to disembark together.
Rolling out a new, safer way of getting on and off Hobart aircraft. 5 new ramps similar to this on their way to the state's largest airport, offered to all airlines to make use of.
They will replace the existing stairs that are currently in use. We've listened to the public around some accessibility concerns with the stairs. These provide, again, a stairless option and makes Hobart Airport one of the most accessible airports in the country.
The new ramps can be used by people of all abilities, including those in a wheelchair, and in some cases will eliminate the need for a lift. But it does mean the possibility of an aero bridge is not on the radar.
Aero bridges are a very expensive option. We see that these ramps that we're providing will also have canopies as well, so they provide weather protection. They're a much more viable option than the aero bridges.
The new ramps will arrive in the next few months, ready for the busy summer season. They're one of just a number of safety upgrades to be rolled out at the airport over the next few years.
We're also trying to create a forecourt system that is pedestrian friendly, and we are moving on plans for that to occur with a view to having that completed by November of this year.
Work is also planned to improve terminal entrances and create space for larger planes, as the introduction of international flights remains on the horizon. Michelle Wisby, 7 Tasmania News.
The Dark Mofo Festival has gone out in style, celebrating its last night tonight with a spectacular show. Our reporter Michelle Wisby joins us now live from the Hobart waterfront. Michelle, good evening. Just what have organisers come up with to mark the end of the festivities for this year?
Well, Jo, they have certainly gone out with a bang. Just a few moments ago here behind me, there was a deafening noise as 150,000 firecrackers went off to mark the end of the festival. Over the past 2 weeks, festival goers have been writing down their fears and placing them into an ogga ogga. It's a sculpture with Balinese origins, and this year it was in the shape of a swift parrot to sit on a giant wooden tree. After being paraded through the streets of Hobart this evening, just a few minutes ago, the entire sculpture was set alight. We were standing alongside thousands of people when it went up in flames, everyone cheering and clapping at their fears burnt away. But tonight does mark the end of the festival for another year, but Jo, it certainly has brought some warmth back to the cold Tasmanian winter.
It does look mighty fine by that fire. Thank you very much for that, Michelle. Michelle Wisby joining us there from the Hobart waterfront. Every year across the world, it's estimated around 300,000 women die from preventable causes related to childbirth. More than 30 Hobart students are working to help change that, assembling essential birthing kits to aid those most vulnerable.
You wouldn't think these ordinary Ziploc bags could save women's lives. They've been assembled today by these students and women's advocacy group Zonta for the Birthing Kit Foundation.
It creates these very simple hygienic kits to send to women all around the world to give them the opportunity to have a sterile birth.
Since the project began in 1995, over 1.5 million kits have been delivered to women in developing countries, each simply containing a plastic sheet, gauze, soap, string, a scalpel and a pair of gloves.
Yeah, it is really surprising what can save a life. It's so simple and so easy to put together, but so necessary, and it's amazing that these simple items can save a life.
A lot of women in remote areas don't have access to simple, sterile birthing conditions, and these kits give them that.
All these items are essential for keeping mothers and their babies safe.
The biggest issue is infection. Infection of the mother in that time when she is her most vulnerable, and infection to the baby coming into a dirty, not clean, environment.
With the cause looking at adapting a greener approach in the future.
I think we're definitely going to look at in the future expanding so there's less plastic in the kits for the environment, and so kind of seeing how we can do that but still give sanitary products and stuff.
Today's effort has produced around 800 birthing kits to be sent to women across the globe. Ruby Kamain, 7 Tasmanian News.
Tasmania has kicked off its Under-16 Championships with a 45-point win over the Northern Territory. Wynyard's Jonty McIver booted 4 for the Devils, while Clarence's Sam Banks racked up 26 touches. The Devils play their next match against Queensland in a fortnight. Hobart's Alex Peroni has claimed his first championship points in Formula 3. Peroni made it as high as 6th position before falling back when his car was damaged. The Tasmanian speedster was eyeing off his first championship points, but he needed to be watching his back.
Oh, that's a late lunge, trying to get past Peroni.
Peroni won the battle and even went up to 6th, but his rival won the war. Peroni slipped to 8th and stayed there until the end. His team would later blame tyre degradation and damage to the car's floor. He will start his next race in pole position under Formula 3's reverse grid rules. Daniel Watkins has produced his best ever result in the canoe slalom. He finished 11th, but could have been much higher had it not been for 8 seconds worth of penalties.
I think from about gate 15 down, I was felt amazing. So I mean, yeah, I'm still happy anyway.
Eddie Ockendon's Kookaburras have finished on top of the Hockey Pro League table ahead of the finals after belting the Netherlands 4-1. Back home, the Northwest Thunder went down to the Knox Raiders by 13 points in the NBL 1. Bad news too for the Launceston Tornadoes. They lost to Knox by 32 points, their 6th straight defeat. And Devonport's Miles Barnard has broken an NPL record, booting 8 goals in the Strikers' 12-0 demolition of Clarence. In other matches, Olympia remains second on the table after a 5-1 win over Riverside. Hobart Zebras beat Launceston City 3-0, while South Hobart brushed aside Glenorchy Knights 2-0.
Good evening. A cold and frosty start with some cloud about the west and south, mostly sunny elsewhere. Hobart and Launceston both 12 today. Devonport 11, Burnie with the state's top of 13 degrees. That was shared with Smithton, Wynyard, King and Flinders Island. Other centres, Strawn and the Friendly Beaches 12, 11 at Low Head, Grove and Ouse. Sheffield and Cressy 10, Medina 8, Lyawini -8 up to a top of 6 degrees today. Cloud visible over the west and south, the north mainly cloud free. On the satellite, low to mid-level cloud over Tasmania, Victoria and coastal New South Wales. High-level cloud crossing WA heading towards South Australia. Tomorrow high will remain over Tasmania and continue to dominate most of the weather as a cold front approaches the Bight. Coastal waters and variable winds at 5 to 15 knots, becoming northerly during the morning, increasing to 15 to 25 knots about the west. Swells below a metre in the north, up to 2 in the east. The forecast now, Hobart frost, then sunny 12, 11 for Dover, Ouse, a cold one -5 up to 11. Launceston frost and fog -4, reaching 11 during the day. Devonport frost, mostly sunny and 11, -2 for Scottsdale, 11 there. Burnie frost, then a partly cloudy day, 11. Strawn sunny and 12, 12 for Stanley and some partly cloudy conditions. In the east, frost, then a sunny day and 13 at St Helens and Swansea. Ross, morning fog and 9 degrees. Looking ahead to the 3-day forecast, and Tuesday morning frost, otherwise fine. Wednesday a fine day apart from the chance of drizzle about the central north, morning inland frost. And Thursday a fine day with freshening north to northwesterly winds. Melbourne tomorrow frost and fog 15. Perth looking at a top of 20 degrees. Adelaide 13. Darwin sunny and 29. A shower for Brisbane 20. Canberra 13 and Sydney showers easing 18 degrees. And right now it's 7 in Hobart, 4 in Launceston and 4 also in Devonport. Jo, another frosty start on the way tomorrow. That's all from me.
Oh my goodness, my car will be frozen over. Thank you very much for that, Laura. That's all from the team for now. Have a lovely evening and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.